Guys, despite what the SEC is doing, and probably because of what the SEC is doing, right now might be your golden opportunity to buy altcoins, especially with Bitcoin. And I will explain why. Like altcoins are bleeding against Bitcoin, which means their ratio is very low, which means you can buy a lot of altcoins right now with Bitcoin. And it's because the SEC has declared like 67 altcoins now to be securities. But that's just the SEC's opinion. That's not rule. That's not law. Neither the courts or Congress have actually made that decision on which, if any, of these coins are securities, especially on the secondary market, which means there's a lot of upside for the low price of altcoins right now. Is it the most optimal time to buy today? Maybe not. Maybe after a week or two, after this goes on a little bit longer, they'll drop even more against Bitcoin. But I don't think it's that far away. And the SEC, like I've said before in previous videos, is playing a very, very dangerous game. The Ripple case, we all know, is almost coming to a head. Now, my guess is probably going to go to trial, but the chance of the SEC scoring a straight out win, I think, is very low based on what we've known about the case so far. However, if in the off chance, or maybe even on the on chance, that Ripple outright wins the case, which I think is kind of unlikely, or they win part of the case, which I think is a lot more likely, then the price of altcoins will go up against Bitcoin, as many of them will no longer be declared securities, especially on the secondary market. A very likely ruling, I think, in the XRP case is the primary sales of XRP by Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple themselves are actually securities. But the ones on the secondary market traded by Coinbase, Binance, etc., are not securities. And that would blow the SEC's case against exchanges completely out of the water for every other altcoin out there. If XRP is not a security, then there's no reason that those other coins are securities. And I think people are going to look on that as a precedent. Remember, in the LBRY case, the judge actually strictly told the SEC that his ruling that LBRY was a security did not actually apply to the secondary market. So there's already a clue for you that secondary market sales are not securities. And all exchanges are secondary market sales, besides the issuance of BNB, which could be considered primary because Binance actually makes that coin. But all the other coins on Binance are indeed not securities if they win the secondary market part. So I think there's actually a decently high possibility that that ruling comes out, that the SEC loses their jurisdiction on exchanges, but they will get the primary sales of the cryptos as securities. And if that happens, I believe that altcoins will rally against Bitcoin. And that could actually happen at any day or any week. The lawyers actually believe the XRP lawsuit resolution is just weeks and not months away. Now, like I said, all we really need for that to happen is the secondary sales to be ruled not as securities. If they let the primary sales go to trial, or if they just rule for the SEC in the primary sales, that's not such a big deal for us because we're dealing with the secondary market. We are not primary buyers or sellers. So what we have would not be securities. And if the SEC reasoning for that these things are securities completely gets blown out of the water, then of course altcoins are going to have a rally. Plus there are the two laws by Congress that would actually basically make any sufficiently decentralized and viable coin not securities, and that would also blow the SEC out of the water. Plus, the House Financial Services Committee is gathering next week to determine clarity for crypto. And remember, the GOP does actually control the House, so that can be turned out to be favorable for us. And even the Democrats like Maxine Waters, they're not really sure about the SEC's argument that everything's a security. And other Democrats like Darren Soto and that one dude from Hawaii, they are actually pro-crypto as well. I think as time goes on, especially in the months and years, Congress overall will become more and more pro-crypto, despite what Elizabeth Warren says. I think she's one of the few that are that's completely anti-crypto. I think everyone else is either neutral or even leaning towards pro-cryptocurrency. And I think that sentiment will change in favor of cryptocurrency in the future. So that's why right now might be your golden opportunity to buy altcoins at a very low price. Because if that Ripple case ends and it's not favorable towards the SEC, which there's a good likelihood, a chance of, I do actually believe that the SEC will actually lose all those other cases where they're suing the exchanges for actually selling cryptos as securities, and that would cause an altcoin rally. So that's why you might want to consider altcoins right now, and it could be a golden opportunity. Of course, there is a chance it could go the other way, but I think the SEC outright winning, the chance of that is fairly small. John Deaton obviously agrees with me, but you got to take what he says with a grain of salt because he's obviously pro-Ripple, and a lot of those Ripple lawyers are pro-Ripple, but looking at the facts of the case, they might actually be right this time, unlike many of the other times where they predicted resolutions or settlements. So that's what I have to say right now. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.